This is the Girls of High Value channel. My name is Joseph Darling. What we're going to talk about today is how to prepare yourself for the right guy. And I'm talking specifically now to those who are considering college education. College education is literally the worst investment that you could possibly make. Completely the absolute worst in terms of preparing yourself for the right guy. You might be lucky. There are some girls who find their right guy in college, but they are very few and far between. I want to say no college education. However, what I would recommend is for you to get educated. Don't get a college education, but educate yourself on the world and on your passions and the things that you absolutely love to do and that you want to do forevermore, okay? I'm gonna go into why I feel so strongly about no college education, because you know there are girls out there who need to provide for themselves, etc. But I just made a video yesterday about why choosing to be an independent woman is a very, very bad idea. In college, very often you have to get into debt to get into college. Now, some places in the world you don't have to pay for school, I get that, but at the same time you're also losing out on money you could have been making if you were in the workforce immediately. And as a woman who desires to find the right guy, a guy who's masculine and who's able to 10x his income, 100x his income, where he won't really need your money in order to provide for the family, then college education is absolutely a waste. Because you could have been spending those 5 years doing something completely different. And if you weren't working during those 5 years or whatever college education, how long it is, you could have been staying at home with your parents, cutting your costs, keeping your costs low, and then studying those things that actually do matter that would prepare you for the right guy. So yes, no debt. It's very critical that you prepare yourself for the right guy by having no debt whatsoever. My wife was really good at that. She made sure she was debt-free when we got married. Thankful to her for that. The second, or the opposite then, is for you to manage the little money that you do have. Maybe you have a lot of money, I don't know. But learn how to manage that money and learn to manage it well. Because eventually, the right guy is going to provide for you means. And if you just massively spend all of his money, you want to make sure that you just spend a small amount of his money. Because the less you spend of the things of the money that he gives you, the more access to his money that you're gonna get. Do you understand? Like, so learn how to spend less so that you can receive more. It's kind of a weird way of thinking about it, but that's how it works. The more money you spend, the more like all over the place you are with finances, the less you're really preparing to be with the right guy. The right guy is going to look, is this woman a fantastic investment for me? Because then I'm going to massively invest in her. But if he sees that you're all over the place with money, it's a bit of a turnoff for the masculine right guy, okay? So learn how to manage money, even though I know it's part of controlling yourself. But the fact is, you're controlling yourself so that you can be free forever. You know, that's one of the few things that you should be masculine about, because if you don't manage that, then you're basically going to settle for any guy who comes along who has, you know, means for a little bit of time. You don't want that. You want to make sure that you've got money, but just enough for you to get by well and comfortably until you find the right guy. Because he's going to have a lot of money, so you don't have to worry about that at all. Another aspect of college education is the fact that there are parties with alcohol and stimulants. Now, instead of going to these alcohol and stimulant parties, the opposite view for those who do not choose college, what I would say is focus on people skills. Learn people skills. There are tons of YouTube videos on it. There's tons of books on it. One that I recommend is How to Win Friends and Influence People. An absolutely fantastic book, and it's a classic, okay? Every one of the greats have read it and who are alive today. And that is basically going to teach you how to work with people in a sober manner. Okay, it's way more beneficial for your life long term than to socialize at these, alcohol parties in college or in high school or wherever you want to think about it. Just don't do that, okay? Rather focus on learning people skills so that you can have fun and connect with people even without any stimulants whatsoever. And since we're on the topic of stimulants, no stimulants. Don't even have it part of you. Either if you're in college or not in college, get rid of stimulants. Stimulants include alcohol, cigarettes, drugs, prescription drugs, and I would say also the pill, the birth control pill. But, there are other ways of having birth control these days. And instead of the stimulants, use exercise and fitness. Exercise and fitness are fantastic ways for you to actually stay up to beat and to prepare yourself for the right guy. Guess what? The right guy thinks beauty and fertility and youth is important. Exercise and fitness is massively important when it comes to that. Sorry to break it for you, but that's just the way it is. Men were designed to desire the things that they visually can see, okay? And that means that it is important as a girl of high value, woman of high value, to prepare yourself physically for that. That means exercise and fitness. And instead of doing it 2 or 3 times a week, which might be the one thing that's recommended, I'd rather you do something every single day and then build yourself up consistently. The only thing that's important here, this is also another place where masculinity has to play in a little bit, and that is to simply be consistent. It's critical that you look good. If you don't look good, if you don't exercise and you don't keep yourself fit, I will not be able to help you. Unfortunately, there is no guy out there who is a man of high value that I prepare who will be satisfied with taking upon himself the responsibility of someone who's overweight. Just practice every single day, exercise, make sure you look fine, because it is critical, it's important. And not only is it good for your man, it is fantastic for you. Your organs will appreciate it, every single part of your body's gonna appreciate it, your skin's gonna appreciate it. You have to do it. There is no excuse for it, but start small and be consistent with it. Whether you're on your period, your PMS, it doesn't matter. Every single day it needs to be done. Another one is no junk food, okay? This is something that happens very often in college campuses. You get your college education, guess what? You're gonna eat pizza, you're gonna eat all these bad, noodles and all these things because you're a student, you don't have any money. No, you're gonna learn instead to cook. The one thing that a masculine man does not want to do is work 12 hours and then come home and then there's no food made. And that's something that hopefully, you could choose to do, or he could also employ someone to cook in your home. That's also possible. At the very end, I've got 2 more things. No sexual partners and no porn. In college, when you go to college, guess what? There's gonna be a lot of guys there. And this day and age, there are more girls going to college than men, which means that there's a fight basically to get the guys, which means that it's easier for guys to get laid, and guys who do get laid have an easier time getting laid more often, which means that there's higher sexual counts on all the women pretty much. And that's what happens in college. Girls get laid. Okay, so if you send your daughter to college, guess what? She's gonna get laid. It's like 1 in 100 who don't get laid in college. Okay, so it's insane. And if you did go to college, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So, all right. Instead of and if you do have sexual partner count, then stop it now. Okay, don't increase it. Don't increase it even 1 more notch. It's not acceptable. Keep your sexual partner count low. Men of high value, they know that they need someone with a low partner count in order for them to bond properly with that woman. Highly also recommend don't watch any porn. It is not good for you. It puts memories inside your head that you will be thinking about. You'll need different kinds of stimulation in order for you to be horny, and it's not okay to watch porn. Instead, what I would do is to educate yourself sexually using other ways. All right, I would actually recommend Montauk Chia's books on this subject. There's not many people out there who are that good writing about sexual things. I just recommend something clean, something simple, and Montauk Chia is a really good source, even though he doesn't really know always what he's talking about, because he does mention some places about porn that it's okay, but it's not. So what I would recommend is getting a couple of Montauk Chia's books when he talks about female sexuality and doing the practices that he has in his books. I think that would prepare yourself for the right guy in great ways, and also for you to get to know your body. Personally, I know there's, some religions out there who say that girls should not be touching themselves and they should not be doing this and the other. Personally, I think it's fine for a woman to touch herself, as long as she doesn't use vibrators or other things like dildos or whatever. Like, stay away from that. If you're gonna stimulate yourself, then do it by yourself on your own, not using anything. I don't see anything wrong with them when they feel like it to do it. Now, obviously, it shouldn't become an addiction, because then it becomes a burden. But if for a woman to take care of her needs on her own when she needs it, just wanted to put that in there. I haven't spoken about this before, but it's an important topic that needs to be raised. If you have more questions about that, I'd love to share. And in the end, no finding the right guy on your own. You cannot trust your emotions. It is not feasible for trust your emotions. You can't even say, oh, I'm gonna trust my heart on this. It doesn't work like that, okay? Your heart will tell you to go with any guy who turns you on and who has power, who has the ability to do. If he's able to make you feel the way you feel, then you think he's the right guy, but he's not necessarily the right guy. Choosing the right guy needs to be chosen from a rational, logical standpoint, where you guys have the same beliefs, you've got to have the same views on life, the same values, the same political beliefs, the same religious beliefs, the same basically everything. Okay, and it needs to be chosen by a wide variety of people that basically say they're the couple. They're right for each other. This is it. Okay, once you've got a huge network of people who say that, yeah, good to go, that's the right guy, we want to do that job for you eventually. If you're patient, okay, it might take a year, it might take 2, it might take 3 years, but if you're in a position to wait for that, we're gonna have a lot of right guys in the future. Everything is going to be based around these 2 channels, and I'm pretty much not going to give up until I have 250 million subscribers on each of them. That's what I want to do. I hope you're with me, and if you are, please comment down below and like this video, subscribe, and I'll see you again in the next one.